afternoon, morning, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are. This is the next edition of the virtual happy hour experience with the Drunken Grape. And I am so happy to feature this gentleman today. He was one of my Friday features. He is a standout on social media. He has a ton of original content. He's charismatic. He is a leader in every sense of the word, has an extensive sales background, and coming up with a great project called Discovering Your Other Self, which we'll talk about. Reggie Waterman. Reggie, I'm so happy to have you. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing well, especially after that intro, man. Jeez. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You made me sound like I was doing stuff.
Well, you are, and it's cool because we were in the Riverside FM room. It's the Zoom room, green room, whatever you want to call it, and original content's in massive need today.
Big time. Big time. Like original and valuable. That's what I would say.
Yeah, you know what? Adding the word value is critical too because you have to give something that people can really engage with and walk away from with value in the sense that you make their lives better. You change them, which you really do. You've come onto LinkedIn and you've really built a very strong organic following in what I consider a pretty quick period of time because of engagement, because you are an engaging character. I watched your video with your friend that moved to Colombia, and I can't remember his name, but the DJ, and he decided to become a digital nomad and start talking about the lifestyle of a digital nomad. And it's content like this that gets people really engaged. So how did you get started on this journey, my friend? Tell us a little bit about it.
The journey was long and steady. So I remember I was working for, I worked in the telecommunications industry, and I was working for one of the big three in Canada. So it's either Bell, Rogers, and Telus, right? This is big three. And I
That's
remember
true.
at that point in time, I was like, what do I want to do next in my career, right? And I was talking to some of my coworkers. I'm like, obviously there's LinkedIn, but we usually use it as just like a online resume. But yeah, you could
Yeah.
post some stuff, but I don't know what to post. So I had this like idea in terms of, okay, maybe I could get noticed on LinkedIn if I start sharing articles about digital transformation. And I'm like,
Cool.
and my core was like, dude, like you just want to talk about digital transformation? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just thinking that might be my ticket to like get noticed by a prospective employer that might reach out and at least showcase that I have all this content. Little did I know about the LinkedIn algorithm at that time, because when you share an article, pretty much nobody really sees it, right? Especially if it's a share. Like if it's a one that you've
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
if
it's
you
true.
if you originally like if you're the originator and you've created it like as an article, then people will look at it. But I didn't know it at that time, right? And working for one of the big three, they were very strict in terms of okay, what you could share and this and that. There's the perception like if he's on LinkedIn throughout the day, what is he really doing work? But shoot, I can multitask, right? But because of that fear, it was holding me back from really putting myself out there. So that's why I went down that digital transformation route. But when I came out of that industry, and that's the point in time where I hit my personal rock bottom. And I know we're kind of going in between stories right now, but I'm trying to get to the point of how I started to create this content. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom and I was on my own trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. At this point in time, I don't have a job, but you know, I have a lot of creativity that was just in this box the whole time being in that one particular industry. And then I started to create content. I started to share my story. I started to write articles. I started to, you know, take pictures and build a story that would connect with people, that would resonate with people, that people would relate to it. And as a result, people started to engage, right? People started to comment. I was like, okay, there's something here, right? And the more I shared, the more impact I was making on everybody that I was, engaging with. from that moment in time, I realized that there's so much impact to our story and our ability to actually tell stories, and we tell that through the content that we create. And now I'm putting myself out there like there's like nobody's business, right? I remember
Yeah, yeah, they're doing a great job of it.
so that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just I'm showcasing the art of the possible, and the art of the possible comes to the content that you put out there for people to see.
And you do a great job of it. I've followed you. I saw your visit and your trip to Paris and across Europe. I thought it was awesome. And I thought that's really a good starting basis because, when I got out of university over half a lifetime ago, um, I went and worked in the cruise line industry for a number of years. And actually, it was just under half a lifetime ago, I started in cruise ships. And traveling is a great way. And the way you showcased it was really cool because it engaged people and it showed the possible. And I think we really live in a time where the possible is essential. I know that we're going to talk about discover your other self or discovering your other self. You'll probably correct me on that one, but it's what you're working on next. And I think it's a really cool illustration of what you're doing. And then I watched this great video that you put up. I think his name's Josh. He moved to Colombia from Toronto. I can't remember his name exactly, but he's a DJ. And he expressed this desire to be a digital nomad. And you shared the story that you were at his party with him. You were at Rogers at the time. You had worked together at Rogers. And most people thought he was nuts. And this is typically what happens. Listen, when I started the Drunken Grape, it was the same thing. Ha ha, that'll never work. Just go get a job. Well, here I am 6 years later and it's working. And you got to go out on your own, and hats off to you for all of it, Reggie, because it's cool. And what you're doing has impact. It has a lot of meaning.
No, thank you for saying that. And you nailed it. It's like we got to showcase what's possible. Like if you look behind me, like I'll put that up.
Great wonder. I love
Create
it.
wonder. So the creating wonder piece
Boom.
is about, okay, well, I'm just gonna create stuff, and you're gonna wonder about it. You'll be like, why is he doing this? Right? Well, the reason I'm doing it is to really showcase what I'm capable of. But when you're questioning, it's building a sense of curiosity, intrigue, but it's also demonstrating innovation, right? And that goes to
Yeah.
everything that goes to everything that I do, right? Like you said, you've been doing the drunken, you've been doing your show for 6 years, right? So think about all the things that you've learned, your ability to refine your approach, your ability to revector the way that you have, conversations, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Drunken Grape,
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Drunken Grape is a freaking awesome name, right?
Cheers to that.
Cheers, man.
I see
Cheers.
you've got the
got
the
the-
Nutra drink in your hand. Those are awesome. It's the happy hour, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers to you, Reggie.
Yeah.
Vodka-based beverage, my friend. This is a good party starter. This vodka comes from vodka. It's a Slavic term, 8th century, means water of life. Use hard water for it, grain-based and then potato-based with the traditional grains that they would ferment and then distill to turn into vodka. Awesome party starter. In fact, anything vodka or vodka-based, I believe, is the #1 alcoholic beverage in the world. You never go wrong throwing a vodka-based beverage at somebody.
Rob,
My friend, on this note,
are you a vodka sommelier? Is that what
well,
you?
I know a little bit about it. But I've got a good bottle of wine here by Henry Appel, and that's just a bit south of you. That's in the Niagara Escarpment. This is a Baco Noir, which is a grape that does really, really well in our soil types. You get these inky, jammy, purplish wines. They got full body. They're off dry, so there's a hint of sweetness that knocks away the acidity. Just imagine having this with a meaty steak, like a medium rare steak. Or if you're not, you're a vegetarian, just imagine enjoying this wine by the fireplace. And we're getting into the cold time of year, heartfelt beverages. Reggie, talk a little bit about, that's it for the happy hour, ladies and gentlemen, on that part. But Reggie, talk to us a bit about discovering your other self or discover your other self, because I think this initiative is awesome.
Wow, that's a good question. The story, it's a really good story. So last year, in the eye of the storm, which I call the pandemic, We all call it the pandemic. What do you mean I call it the pandemic? We
Yeah.
all call it the pandemic. And I remember it was March 2020. One morning, I was, after my routines, I was walking downstairs, and I'm a spiritual person, Rob. So I heard this voice say,
Cool.
"Connect with the people." And I'm like, "Connect with the people? Connect with the people? What does that mean?"
Wow, that's
And
deep.
because I heard this voice, I'm like, "Okay, let me see what I could do." And it was like a field of dreams moment. It's like you build it and they will come. A- And
Yes.
I don't mean to say it to get cheeky. I'm just delivering the true story here. So I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I connect with people, and what are people doing right now during this pandemic? We're about to go into lockdown. What do we do? And I was like, well, you know how to use Zoom. Why don't you just connect with people that way? So I was like, okay, let me do it. Let me do this Zoom thing. What I'll do is I'll just gather up a bunch of people. We'll have a conversation, and we'll keep them engaged, uplifted, because it's a trying time for a lot of people, but they could be entertained. But I don't know what I'm going to talk about. So I create this Eventbrite page, and I'm like, okay, let me just create this event. And then I do a LinkedIn post and say, hey guys, I'm doing this thing and setting up a Zoom. If you want to chat, here's the link. And a friend of mine hit me up and she goes, dude, you're in marketing. Like, you could do a better job than that. Like, like, people are not just going to come if you just do a post. You got to, like, reach out to people, slide into their DMs. Like, you know how this works. I'm like, yeah, I know. But I just don't like putting myself out there like that. No, come on. She goes, just do it. So I do it.
Nice.
The first one. So I call it Discover Your Other Self. I didn't know what else. I was just like the week before, I'm like, maybe I'll call it Discover Your Other Self. Get on this Zoom, and there's 28 people. And I'm like, okay.
That's pretty good.
That's good, because I
That's
was
pretty
thinking
good.
going into it,
That's a great start. Yeah.
if one person shows up, I'll just have a conversation like this. 20 people showed up. And then a few weeks later, 70 people showed up. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is
Wow.
amazing. I think we're onto something. And
Yeah,
then
no kidding.
somebody that I met on LinkedIn said, hey, you could get more reach if you get a LinkedIn Live. I'm like, a LinkedIn Live? Like, what's that? I thought that was only for, like, special people, because it was still part of that pilot phase, right? Because you had to apply for it.
Yes. Yes.
So I applied for it, I'm like, and then I get it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I get it, and it was October of last year, a year ago. That was my first LinkedIn Live, and over 1,000 people tuned in. And
Wow. That's crazy.
I was like, okay, there's something here. So I went from 70 at its max on Zoom to 1,000 people. And, I got into the rhythm of, let's talk about life's challenges, and let's talk about how we overcome them. So now I'm doing these LinkedIn Lives, and on this LinkedIn Live, I meet a bunch of people, and I call them my, divine connections, spiritual guides. And I remember this one person in particular goes, hey, do you ever think about writing a book? And I'm like, you know what? In 2019, someone did say to me, I should write a book. But I don't want to write it. Write a book. So then I said, maybe I should. She goes, don't worry, there's people that could help you. I'm like, okay, cool. She gave me the contacts. And guess what, Rob? Your audience is the first people to see this.
Boom. Wow. That's awesome. That takes balls. It takes a lot of guts. That takes dedication. This is a testament of your character, my friend. And, brother, that's awesome. That just says a lot about you. And you know what? The fact that you went from just 28 people in a first session is incredible off the fly. Think about that. Then it went to 70. You got this structure, and it's now killing it at 1,000 people tuning into live broadcasts. Most people struggle and pull teeth to get 30, 40 people within a half hour or hour. And these are established people with great content. To pull 1,000 or more, that's a gift. I'm going to share with the audience here. your profile. I'm just going to have it come up. You know, people need to connect with you. They need to reach out with you. They need to know who you are. I've got it right there. You know, you've got a lot of cool things going on, Reggie.
Oh no, spell my
Happy hour.
I'm just joking. I just
Cheers, dude. You know, this is awesome. And I know that you're also, not only do you do this, but you do a lot of leadership, motivation, and sales training to university students across at least Ontario, probably across the country now too, don't you?
Yeah, actually, before this, I was having a conversation with one department in Ryerson. After this, I have another conversation with another department in Ryerson. But yeah, I partnered up with Ryerson, UFT. I've done some workshops with San Jose State University out in California.
Wow.
I've
Wow.
done things
That's
with
awesome.
Yale College. I have a workshop coming up with Durham College for speaking opportunity. But it's really and truly looking at how to work with the future leaders of tomorrow, give them the tools that are not found in an average textbook to set them up for success post graduation. So talking about things like how to deal with a bad boss, because nobody talks about that in school. How to network effectively.
They don't.
How to navigate politics, right? So these are all some of the critical things that people, the students need to know when they are transitioning into the real world.
Oh yeah, basic finance, sales,
Yeah.
political issues. It's funny. I say that to my friends and my girlfriend all the time. That these are the essence. These are the essential things just ignored and neglected. It's almost like you're just picked up by the seat of the pants. You're thrown out a window, and they go, "Hey, you're going to learn this on your own. Fend for the wolves." And it's such a bad way to learn. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like. Make sure to share this video. Definitely reach out to Reggie. I'm going to have your contact information and the details about you, Reggie, in the description of this show, which will be shared. I know you got to run. I think it is awesome what you're doing. Keep doing great things. Keep an eye out for that book, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure it's going to be a bestseller. Make sure to order that. Is that going to be available on Amazon is my next question.
Yes, so next month. So I'm going to be doing some activities, promotional activities between now and next month, but it will be available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you buy books. It will be available. There'll also be an ebook as well. But yeah. What else
Awesome. And I love
to your
awesome.
audience is that here's my thing. It won't change your life. I'd be lying to you if I said it will change your life. It won't. But it'll change the way that you look at life. And if you change your mindset, then you'll change your life. So I'll leave your audience with
That's true. Yep. Whatever you make up your mind to believe or be is what you are. That's sort of a paraphrase of the great Abraham Lincoln. And, you know, just on a last parting note, it's amazing to see people like yourself pivot. You know, I had to pivot as well, the virtual side of things. I love how you just launched that show and it became to discover your other self. It's what I did with virtual tastings. People thought at first, nobody's going to attend a virtual tasting party. Well, I'll tell you what, they're booming now because it's borderless. There's no commute. You don't have to worry about inclement weather. You don't have to worry about corporate travel and the costs. And it's easier to engage. Nobody interrupts you when you're on a live presentation on a Zoom call.
I love that.
These are the powerful things. And this is amazing that you followed this path. You know, God bless you and much love to you. I know you're a spiritual man. Reggie, you've been a tremendous guest. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you decide to do, have a terrific day. Have a happy hour. This is Rob and Reggie from The Drunken Great.
Cheers.